For over 20 years, DreamWorks have been well known for their many movie franchises, including Shrek, Madagascar, How to Train Your Dragon, and many others. But my personal favorite would have to be Kung Fu Panda, and since the fourth movie came out this year, I decided why not talk about all of the movies in one video. And to begin, let's talk about the first Kung Fu Panda movie. Released back in June 6th of 2008, literally 16 years ago, Kung Fu Panda has aged extremely well. From beginning to end, this movie is a masterpiece. From its writing, to its score, to its animation, just everything about it has aged very well. So let's talk about its highlights, including the animation. The CGI has aged pretty well, and its fight scenes is definitely the highlight of the movie. Like, man. Dude, they did not have to go this hard with the fight scenes. But they did, and that's definitely something to compliment on. And the 2D animation that we see at the beginning of the movie is heavily inspired by anime. I wish the movie was animated like this, but oh well. It's still very nice to look at. When it comes to the plot itself, it deals with our main character, Po, being chosen as the Dragon Warrior. At first, it seems like an accident, since Po doesn't actually know Kung Fu and he got into the ceremony by mistake. But Oogway, the one who chose him, tells him not to quit, and that he chose him for a reason. After that, Oogway tells Master Shifu that he must believe in Po in order for him to become a Dragon Warrior and to train him into learning Kung Fu. While Master Shifu doesn't believe, he definitely tries to, and still trains Po in the most beautiful montage I've seen when it comes to any DreamWorks movie. Now I want to talk about the movie's best character, Tai Lung. Played by Ian McShane, he gives an amazing performance as Tai Lung. Not only is he a big threat, but he is incredibly powerful.
Finally, a worthy opponent. Our battle will be legendary.
Shifu adopted Tai Lung as a son, and over time, he would teach him Kung Fu so that he can become a Dragon Warrior. Over time, Oogway saw that there was only darkness in Tai Lung's heart, seeing that Tai Lung could not become a Dragon Warrior. This caused Tai Lung to go crazy throughout the city. Tai Lung tried to get his hands on the Dragon Scroll, which caused Shifu to try and stop him, but he couldn't. He saw Tai Lung as his son, something that he raised. And so of course Oogway defeated Tai Lung, eventually sending him to jail. After this, Shifu was never the same, which caused Shifu to suffer, Tai Lung to suffer, and pretty much his students to suffer. Tai Lung is a very tragic villain. All he wanted to do was make Shifu proud of him, because Shifu kept on telling him that he was destined for greatness, all for that to go nowhere. Which, you understand why Tai Lung is like this. It was the only thing that made Tai Lung want to become a Dragon Warrior, because of Shifu, and how much pride Shifu gave Tai Lung, especially in his childhood and once he became an adult. After the fight between Tai Lung and Shifu, Shifu tries to apologize to Tai Lung about everything, which is very emotional, but at the same time, Tai Lung is too angry to even accept an apology. Then Po comes back to fight Tai Lung, and during the battle we see some things that Po has gone through throughout the movie, especially in training, which is definitely a nice touch. After this, we see Tai Lung defeat Po. He gets his hands on the Dragon Scroll, opening it and seeing nothing but himself. At first, he's confused, but Po tells him that it's just you and that there is no secret ingredient. A very good message. Throughout the movie, we see Po being made fun of for his fatness, but in the final battle with Tai Lung, the fatness actually helps Po defeat Tai Lung. The battle finishes with Po using the Wuxi finger hold from the beginning of the movie, finally defeating Tai Lung once and for all. After the battle, the Furious Five give Po his respect and call him Master, a very earning scene. Rewatching Kung Fu Panda all these years later, I still love this movie, and it's still one of DreamWorks' best movies that they have ever made, and that's why it deserves a 9 out of 10. Now, on to the second movie. Kung Fu Panda 2 is easily my favorite movie in the entire franchise. I love that the Furious Five are used way more here than they were in the last movie, and Lord Shen is way more threatening than Tai Lung ever was, and he has a big impact on Po's past, which we will get to in a bit, but Lord Shen is the most evilest villain in the entire franchise, making him stand out a lot. We also get the origins of how Mr. Ping met Po by adopting him and raising him, which is pretty adorable. Throughout the journey, Po starts to get flashbacks to what happened before he got adopted by Mr. Ping, and that Lord Shen was responsible for doing the genocide to the panda village that he used to live in. Now, the reason why he did this was because he was told that he would be defeated by a creature by the colors of black and white. Because of this, he decided to kill most of the pandas in the panda village. Now, I wish this was something that we could learn throughout the journey with Po, but that doesn't ruin the inner peace scene. We are introduced to the skill of inner peace by Shifu at the beginning of the movie, but Po has a hard time in focusing and actually doing inner peace. But it isn't until Lord Shen actually defeats Po, and this is when Po truly realizes that he has to learn to find inner peace. He does this by facing his past and what he went through when he was much younger. His final moments with his mother is truly emotional, and it's such a mature and beautiful scene that it's crazy to think that it's in a movie like this. The only way for Po to overcome from his dark past is to acknowledge it, not fight it back. And while yes, Po is very sad when it comes to what happened in the past, he's still reminded that while he didn't have such a great beginning, he was still able to do many amazing things like in the first movie. So of course, this makes him come back and finally take on Lord Shen. Po's comeback is truly beautiful, and he doesn't take revenge when it comes to defeating Lord Shen, but he decides to use inner peace to defeat him, but also still find peace with Shen. But Shen still wants to kill Po and starts to fight with him. It isn't until he finally accepts his death, and that's how Lord Shen gets defeated. And then we get easily the best scene in the entire movie.
I found out how I ended up in that radish basket.
You did?
I know who I am.
You do?
I'm your son. I love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
Kung Fu Panda 2 is a perfect sequel, and that's why it deserves a 9.5 out of 10. Now, let's talk about the third movie.
Justice is about to be served.
Kung Fu Panda 3 came out in late January of 2016, introducing Po's past father, Lee, that we saw in the second movie at the end. Lee was able to find Po thanks to the help of Oogway sending him a message that Po is still alive after all these years. We also get a new introduction to a new villain who, let's just say, has a pretty underrated badass theme.
Kai! Nice. Very tacky.
Kai's backstory is very simple. So he used to be best friends with Oogway. Oogway got hurt in battle. Then Kai found a village full of pandas. They used the power of Chi to heal Oogway. Then Kai caught wind of this and used the power for himself to capture others. Oogway fought with Kai, then sending him to the spirit realm. Then 500 years later, Kai would be able to defeat every Kung Fu master in the spirit realm, including Oogway. While Kai is not as powerful as the last two villains, he is still pretty threatening, especially by his accomplishments, and the size, his theme, and he's voiced by J.K. Simmons. The power of Chi, Kai can make these things called zombies that can duplicate and also recreate the skills from the Kung Fu masters. Since Lee is here, he can actually take Po with him and teach him Chi, since he's a panda, and takes him to the new village filled with other pandas. But the other pandas are, well, a little more lazy, just like Po, and not really the type that they were back then when it came to Chi. But by the end of the movie, they learn how to use chi by helping Po defeat Kai with his final form as the Dragon Warrior, which is just an awesome scene. The movie ends with Po meeting with Oogway in the spirit realm, and it's a pretty nice scene overall. Then Po goes back home on Earth to the village. Po becomes a teacher by teaching everybody how to do Kung Fu, and the movie ends. Kung Fu Panda 3 is a familiar but fun sequel that I think would have been a good conclusion for the franchise. But of course, we got a fourth movie. So for now, Kung Fu Panda 3 gets an 8 out of 10. Now, let's talk about the most recent Kung Fu Panda movie. Kung Fu Panda 4 came out in March of this year. And, well, let's just say that this movie went through a lot of production hell, which explains why the movie has a lot of problems. But before going over those problems, I want to talk about what I liked about the movie. Animation is very nice and smooth and has this energetic feel, and it's definitely the nicest looking Kung Fu Panda movie out of all of them, but it's not the most beautiful. I did enjoy the scenes with Lee and Mr. Ping together. They were definitely the funniest parts of the movie. Some action scenes were pretty cool, I guess. Po is the same, but he doesn't develop that much as a character here. The new character, Zen, the fox, she's fine, I guess. Not very interesting, but she's fine. Alright, now it's time to talk about what I didn't like. Like Chameleon, the villain in this movie. Unlike the 3 past villains, she's not threatening nor powerful, and her backstory sucks. The only reason why she's evil is because she wanted to learn Kung Fu when she was younger, but she wouldn't be accepted due to her size, apparently. And her plan is to take over China. That's it. I mean, her monster form at the end is pretty cool. That's like the only cool thing about her. She just sucks. There's nothing interesting about her. And that's a huge shame, especially comparing her to the other past villains. Speaking of villains, Tai Lung's here. So are the other 2 from the past movies. They don't do anything. They're just here for fan service. No redemption arc for Tai Lung. Nothing. He's just here. And the other 2 don't say anything. Also, as a last minute addition, the Furious 5 are in the credits to train Zen, and they don't have any speaking role because none of the voice actors returned, I guess due to cost of how much they would have paid the actors. But yeah, they aren't in the movie, but they are in the credits, so that sucks. What also sucks is that Shifu is barely in the movie. So yeah. So Kung Fu Panda 4 is not a bad movie, but it's pretty disappointing. I watched these movies in order, and watching Kung Fu Panda 4, yeah, it's kind of disappointing. On its own, I think it's a good movie, but comparing this to the others, yeah, it's kind of mid. I mean, it's a watchable movie, and if you enjoyed Kung Fu Panda 4, then that's good. I still enjoyed the movie. There were things I liked, but I think it's more focused on comedy than action and the story. But, yeah. For now, I'm giving this movie a 5 out of 10, and I think that's fair. And I am finally done talking about every Kung Fu Panda movie. And watching all of these movies was a nice experience, and I enjoyed all of them. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.